Friday and time for the weekly channeled oracle reading. This week it's for February 16th through 22nd, 2015. Hi guys, so we made it through the last week, but before I go get Whitehawk and see what's up for this upcoming week, let's touch back briefly on last week. Last week, Whitehawk had spoken about rising up through the ashes, much like Phoenix medicine, where we have to die first before we can come up, before there can be that rebirth. And so that can manifest itself in a number of ways. So I hope your eyes were open, your ears were open, your heart was open to be able to see how that would manifest itself. It can manifest itself as, say, you just lost your job, but you got an interview this past week that went very well. Or you have just left a relationship, but you are enjoying either finally over the last relationship and are enjoying your freedom, or have found yourself a new mate and are entering into a new relationship. Or it can be a very literal rising up through the ashes, as it was for me, where this past week we lost another really good family friend. If you recall, in October we also lost another really good family friend, both neighbors. One was on our left side, one was on our right side. And so this past week was saying goodbye to a great lady again, and whose family had very much the same upbringing and circumstances we had. And so for me, it was about going back and seeing some really, really good people, some very grounded people, some people I can be very comfortable with, and the sadness of saying goodbye to a lovely, lovely lady who was a great friend and help to my mom. So that's how rising up through the ashes came for us, or for me, this week. And so I just was hoping to help you guys see where maybe you rose up from the ashes, or perhaps it was you were sick, and then finally you saw a break this week, or you've just been feeling so lethargic that this week you finally seen a break as well, or if you were depressed and finally seen a break as well. So it can happen many, many ways. And so I just tried to give you examples to help you open up your eyes to where it can happen. Okay, now that we've touched back on last week, let's go get Whitehawk and see what he has to say for our upcoming week. Indeed, little one. Last week, indeed, was a difficult week for many people. For we see, or we think, that rising up through the ashes can be easy, but it's not always easy as it is necessary. It is a necessary part of your path to help you to grow and to get to new parts of your path during this earth walk. And so as you move and you groove through the energies of this upcoming week, children, you will find that indeed it will be a troublesome week for some, but although it's a troublesome week for some, it again is another week of those who rise up from the ashes. So although there is trouble for some, to go through that trouble and to get to the other side is a birth, is a rebirth, is a claiming of one's own self, is a claiming of one's own territory. And so if you see it as I see it, you'll see it as a necessary part of the week that occurs, a necessary part of the path that you have to walk on to get to the other side. And so many of you are taking deep breaths and just thinking, how, I can't make it through all this anymore. It seems that there's more bad than there is good. And so then he says, well, I suppose it's all in the way that you perceive it. If one is to think that one can create one's goals, desires, and wishes without some aggravation, without some annoyances, then you are not living in the real world. For indeed to create your wishes and your desires and dreams to come true, sometimes there is sacrifice, children. It is just the way of the world. It is the laws. It is the universal laws. And so many of you may be finding this depressing, but on the other side of this is so much good, children, so much good. And so while he's saying that, I'm feeling a lot of pain in my legs, mainly in my bottom part of my legs, the calf area, and then so it's painful, and then it sort of radiates up from there. And this is a pain I can feel often. And he says, yes, and so many of you are probably feeling these same type of symptoms or pains that she speaks of. And really, he says, the way I can explain it, it again is a rising up through the ashes. That is how you will feel it. It is not meant, birthing, he says, in itself is not a easy process. He says, if you think of any type of a birth, whether it be your own birth or you having given birth or the birth of a bird or the birth of any type of mammal, it doesn't happen easily and without pain, does it, children? There is endurance that is needed. There is support that is needed. But in the end, all that pain dissipates and goes away once the birth has occurred, almost like you do not remember the pain in order to get to the other side. And so I offer this up to you, children, as some assistance for many of you who are going through birth and having birthing pains, if we may deem to call them that. So it is another week of continuing to not only open our heart chakra, as I denoted in the February monthly reading, but it is another week to progress on our path, to grow, to rise up through the ashes of rebirth. So God bless, children, as you continue on your path of rebirth through this week, but also through the remaining weeks of February. God bless. God bless, he says. It is worth it. It is worth it, children. Thank you, Whitehawk. Well, there you go. That is his version of birthing, and it's very true, actually. It's a very good example to use when we're coming either through the birthing canal or the mom's giving birth, or, you watch a bird give birth, the fact that they have to crack that shell open and then kick it off them, and they're just this little wee thing, that's just amazing. There's some hardship to go through, but on the other end of it is just miracle after miracle, the miracle of birth. So I hope that helps you get through your weeks knowing that on the other side is birth and rebirth. If you liked what you heard here, give me a thumbs up. You can join me on Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus for Whitehawk's daily wisdom to help us through the week and give us insight as to what is up and coming in regards to the energies of our day. And next week is our monthly reading for February, and that's on Monday. That's our weekly vlog. So as always, I enjoy your company regardless of what it is that Whitehawk is teaching us or showing us, or however he is healing us. Speaking of healings, if you haven't had a chance to listen to the February monthly reading, please do. It's a meditation, a heart-opening meditation for us to receive all that love. We shall see you on Monday. God bless. I'm Tracy for a Chandler's Channel.